Kennedys. Listen, no matter how many times you hear it, this is heart-wrenching. The wedding, she said, they were taking down the wedding apparatus, what was to be this joyful, happy day, happy occasion to which John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife, and his wife's sister were flying, and to have the wedding canceled, and then the trucks already beginning to back up to take it away. With the Bissett family and with the Kennedy family, I mean, you know, what can one say? And no wonder around the world it's known as a star-crossed family.
Yes, you know, in thinking, one thing over the years that happens is that, and one of the things that's unusual about the Kennedys, and I suppose one of the reasons that we get these kind of peaks and valleys they go from these shimmering peaks to these profound valleys, is precisely because there are so many of them. And today, big families are not common. True. So that there are so many targets out there for fate. There is such competition within the family for sunshine and attention that Kennedys tend internally to do dramatic things, to, you know, pay attention. Attention must be paid to this man. But how they absorb it emotionally and internally is a mystery to most of us. You get that kind of Kennedys don't cry attitude, but of course they do.
Well, picking up on that point, John F. Kennedy Jr. himself said, and I quote him directly in answer to a Vogue magazine questioner in the early 1990s, he said, quote, "It's hard for me to talk about legacy or a mystique. It's my family, it's my mother, it's my sister, it's my father. We're a family like any other. We look out for one another. The fact that there have been difficulties and hardships or obstacles makes us closer," unquote. John F. Kennedy Jr. It's the kind of thing that we've heard over the years time and again from the Kennedy family. He wasn't speaking that at a time of tragedy, right. But, you know, we heard it when Robert F. Kennedy was suddenly assassinated in the hotel in Los Angeles. We heard it at the time President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, time after time after time. You know, the family, you make a very good point. Theirs is a large family, including the extended family, right. And big families are not the norm anymore.
No, it is. The great family sagas tend to be about Asian, European families and early American families where you had this huge canvas, Bruegel-like, to paint a saga on. Now, in a day of 1 and 2 children, tragedy goes into a very small group of people, rather into a family that's almost a community. And in this particular case, they are the American community. We know these people. We know who they are.
With that in mind, let us run for you photographs over the years, pictures over the years of the Kennedy family. And by all means, Dick Reeves, help me here as we describe the joyous, happy Kennedys on the beach with the children.
You know what's always amazed me about that? Life has changed by advances in communications technology. And neither your family nor mine probably has film like this. But if you have a big family and with money, they were using the best equipment of the day, so they have this visual record that we can now draw on.
This particular set of scenes, after Jacqueline Kennedy had married Aristotle Onassis, and John Kennedy, forever John John. He's been John John ever since he was a child. That's what they called him when he was an infant, and it stuck with him, however much he himself may have hated it to be called John John. And the groundbreaking ceremony with the late matriarch of the clan, Rose Kennedy, who lived to be 100+ years. Happier times, family gathering, Rose Kennedy with her signature hat, young John with his signature full helmet of hair.
Yeah. You see how, at least in these photographs, there may be a reason, he stays close to his mother. Some of us would envy that with our own children.
Here, John is beginning to emerge. He's now, you know, he's a student at Brown University. Study, yes. Have a good time, yes, also. Now with his sister, his older sister, Caroline Kennedy, who, as we reported very early in the day, was off on a rafting trip
Oh, I didn't know, yeah.
Yeah, she was off on a rafting trip and hard to reach, and my understanding she has by this time been reached, but we're not absolutely certain of that, but she was off in a remote area. And spending his time with the Peace Corps, you know, at his mother's urging, he spent time stuffing political envelopes for some Democratic outfit in Boston, spent time hanging around the Peace Corps a little.
Well, for Caroline, this will be the hardest. Will hit her the hardest. And
Just didn't mean to interrupt, but this is a picture of him taking part as an actor at Brown University. We mentioned before he aspired to be an actor, but his mother advised him against it and guided him against it. I'll stop short of saying she ordered him not to do it, but there certainly was the inference that she said, no way, no how.
And also it may have had an effect on the young women in his life, since he lived for a long time with Daryl Hannah, and a lot of us thought they were going to get married. And a lot of us seem to think that maybe his mother didn't approve of that.
He went to law school and said, New York University, and how that headline had to grate on the flunks. I mean, you can't, I would say it's unfair, but, you know, he flunked the bar exam twice, but I say again, a New York bar exam is, it's no gut cinch for anybody, and give him credit. He went back twice and then a third time and finally passed it.
Well, the guts of the third try was, I was impressed greatly with that. If you know, I mean, it's, America's a great country because you have the freedom to fail, but you prefer not to do it in front of the whole country.
And then the wedding, which he planned, carried off boldly and secretly and very efficiently, with his, here with his, flanked by his sister Caroline on his left, Jackie Kennedy, by that time a book publisher and editor in New York, and then Mrs. Kennedy's funeral here in New York.
Well, the Rose Kennedy losing 2 children in plane crashes and another one badly hurt in one, it still was a different time. She had 10 children. Today, people have 1 or 2, and the loss is crushing.
John Kennedy at the burial of his mother in